Hey folks, you can listen to Idioms on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, and Google Podcasts. Search Idioms David Dyer on any one of those and subscribe. And welcome to Idioms episode 22. I'm your host, David Dyer, and Idioms is my mini-cast, 5 minutes at the most, about the same time it takes to realize that Holmes and Watson was a bad idea. And as the name implies, I talk about idioms, those phrases we say in everyday conversation that seem completely out of place, yet you know exactly what they mean by the way they're being used. Good, so let's go. This is Idioms episode 22, and the idiom we're going to cover today is close but no cigar. You've heard it. So I'm standing in line for like 2 hours waiting to ride the corkscrew. It's hot, it's humid, I haven't eaten, and I pass by the sign that shows how tall you have to be, and this girl who can't be more than 18 starts giggling and says, "Hey pal, close but no cigar." Literal meaning, to incorrectly guess that a drawing of a candy bar was a cigar during a game of Pictionary. Contextual meaning, an expression used to let someone know they've fallen just short of a successful outcome. Better luck next time. So let's explore the origin. According to phrases.org.uk, this one is as American as apple pie and reverse mortgages. And the first recorded use of it was in a 1935 film version of Annie Oakley, where she says, "Close, Colonel, but no cigar." Now, I've never seen this movie, so I don't know the context of how it was used, but Annie was an expert with a rifle, so figure it out. But the phrase continues to gain popularity, and in 1949, the Lima News in Lima, Ohio, writes an article titled "Close But No Cigar" about a store called the Lima House Cigar and Sporting Goods Store that narrowly avoided being burned down in a fire. You want to smoke a tightly wrapped La Prosa while skipping rope, but you don't want to have to go to 2 stores to do it? Come on down to the Lima House Cigar and Sporting Goods Store. Jump and cough in one stop. Now we've got a timeline battle on our hands. Because the idioms.com says they found an earlier use of the phrase in print than phrases.org.uk's 1949, when they found it in a newspaper called the Long Island Daily Press, whose May 18, 1929 edition had an article titled "Close but No Cigar." It was about a man named Hugo Straub who ended up second in 2 presidential races he was entered in the same week. Few questions here. 1. President of what? 2. Why were you in 2 elections? And 3. What was the plan if you won both? Oh, Hugo Straub, you moron. Sounds like you got exactly what you deserved. TodayIFoundIt.com sets the table nicely and says the phrase likely had its beginnings in the late 19th century. Round about this time and before the days of Netflix and Fortnite, people actually went outside, and a couple of extremely popular forms of entertainment were fairs and carnivals. And some of the more popular games that could be played along the midway were the milk bottle pyramid, the ring toss, and the balloon dart throw, all of which were usually rigged so that you had little or no chance of winning. The milk bottles on the bottom row would have lead in them. The rings you were throwing were just a tiny bit larger than your target, meaning the physics of it all weighed heavily against you. And the balloons would be underinflated so they'd have some give, and the darts would more than likely just bounce right off. The big prize for these games was not an oversized Woody Woodpecker or a piece of crap hula hoop that you had to lug around the rest of the day. It was a top shelf cigar. And why were cigars given out as a prize? Because back then cigars were hugely popular. Most men smoked them, and they were a common form of celebration. Cigars were given out for everything from a new baby to a job promotion to beating the rap on a federal embezzlement charge. And what else could the toothless alleged convict who was managing the game say when you threw that softball as hard as you could, only to have it bounce off the 50-pound milk jug on the bottom row? But sorry, Hugo, close but no cigar. So that's it. Episode 22 of Idioms is complete, and I swear, sir, those balloons are as full as they get. I'm your host, David Dyer. Thanks for listening. Check back for new episodes every Tuesday and Friday, but until then, I'll catch you on the flip side.